Disney, what up? No, it's not Wizards of the Coast. It's Ravensburger. You know, the company that just made a massive splash in trading card games using your IP. Listen, anyway, we've got some major plans. We're ready to take the next step. Hear me out. We're gonna do Marvel. What do you mean you rented it out? Who'd you rent Marvel to? What? Disney Lorcana recently hit the trading card game ecosystem and made a massive splash. It's safe to say normal people are taking to the Disney Lorcana trading card game in ways that I could not have possibly imagined. And I do believe that all of this is because of the Disney IP. Look, we feel comfortable as consumers when we see Simba and princesses and Aladdin and things like that on shelves that we essentially know what we're getting. And I would venture to guess that most people that are picking up these cards are not exactly hardcore trading card game fans, but rather just fans of Disney looking to have some fun with their family around the kitchen table. And hey, I've said myself several times in all the videos across the channel, and I'll say it again, me and my family are really enjoying playing the game, having some fun with the starter decks, and I think the game goes super wide. So it begs the question, what the hell? Why is Disney selling, or not selling, renting the Marvel IP to something like Magic the Gathering when they now have their own way to enter the trading card game space through Lorcana? Is this a major miss from Lorcana, or was this pretty much always going to happen? Let's talk about that entire ecosystem today. And as we get into it, if you enjoy this conversation, remember, click that subscribe button. We passed 6750, we're on to 7K, and the saying will be, and we'll fail at it for a while, but it'll be 7K by the end of the day. So help the channel out, help us grow, and 80% of people that watch this video aren't subbed, so smash that button. But before we get into why Disney Lorcana is not getting Marvel, we need to admit the fact that it is going to Magic the Gathering, and this does seem to be a massive win for the Magic the Gathering community. MTG and Wizards of the Coast have done a great job recently at bringing people who aren't hardcore Magic fans or even hardcore trading card game fans into the TCG ecosystem. I think this is a massive win for TCGs across the board, and while I've often called Disney Lorcana a possible onboarding trading card game, right? Where it's people play Disney Lorcana and then as they get older, they move into other trading card games. I do think that these games, kind of becoming more outward facing and getting on the forefront of people's thoughts who otherwise wouldn't have been considering playing a card game is a massive positive. But I got to admit, I didn't see the Marvel crossover coming. Magic the Gathering is often looking for new IPs to kind of splash into their own trading card game, bring in new people, and yes, guess what? Hasbro wants to make money. My favorite saying is, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro is not your friend. They are a company looking to make money. It was a surprise to see something from Disney come this quickly. And I know, Disney is crazy wide. Disney owns like everything when you actually break it down and look at it, but it was still extremely surprising. But is this actually a miss for Disney Lorcana? Well, let's zoom out and take a look at Disney Lorcana as it exists right now and what made the first set so successful. Well, that first set really pulled at our heartstrings and pulled at our nostalgia and got us involved in a TCG in a space that many people, I would gather, are comfortable. And I'm not saying Marvel doesn't do that, but Mickey Mouse, princesses, now coming Winnie the Pooh, Elsa, Frozen, your Flynns, things like that really speak to a lot of people that probably aren't big trading card fans, and it's a very big comfort zone. Now, when that is your first set, when that is kind of the base that you're kicking things off, it kind of sets a tone and a vibe for the community, and also opens you up to explore so many things. I mean, we just talked, the next set coming is Winnie the Pooh. There's so many more like classic, cartoony, and kids movie Disney IPs that haven't been explored that it makes sense that we're not going straight from Mickey Mouse to Captain America. They're both owned by Disney, but it makes sense that in back-to-back sets, we're not making that leap. But that doesn't mean that Lorcana wasn't getting there over time, especially as you explore the Disney IP and start to branch out a little bit. Things get really interesting. But I would attest that Marvel doesn't really fit the Lorcana vibe, at least for early on. So in this sense, I actually don't think this is a loss or a massive L or anything for Lorcana. I couldn't imagine Lorcana jumping into the Marvel space this quickly. I believe they're committed to about 4 sets a year, and if we just kind of were to, just brainstorm the overall like cartoony for fun, you know, maybe younger demographic Disney IP that could be explored before we get to something like Marvel, or even we'll talk about Star Wars later in this video. There's so much meat on that bone. There's so much there that I think it would be a while before Lorcana has to take the step into Marvel. But that doesn't make this any less weird, and I do think it's important to note that when Magic made their announcement, it was said that this was a deal that was years in the making. So Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, whoever is having that conversation with the people over at Disney and the people over at the Marvel division at Disney have been working on this for some time. And you gotta start to wonder, with Disney Lorcana being announced, you know, sometime last year, and we all got very excited about it, was this deal in place before Disney Lorcana was even a thought, or before there was even any consideration to actually renting out the IP to Ravensburger for use in a card game? It does seem like that deal could have come around more quickly. It could have been less complicated because you're not dealing with a massive company like Hasbro. You're not dealing with a huge division of that company like Wizards of the Coast. You know, the sole reason that Hasbro makes money these days, it seems. So all of these things are super interesting. The big overarching idea is that I don't think this is a massive loss for Lorcana yet. I do think this is a telling tale for us if Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger continues on the trajectory it's on. Listen, I've said on this channel, and I'll say it again, and I'll try to link a video up here about Rise of the Floodborn. They're vastly underprinting. They vastly underestimated their demand. I believe Ravensburger dropped the ball in a couple things. I also believe that, hey, it hasn't mattered yet. We have still loved the game so much. The game is flying off the shelf. People cannot wait to get their hands on the cards. And I believe that that IP equity and our nostalgia and love for Disney equity is going to carry us so far. Sooner or later, though, Ravensburger, if they continue to make, you know, what I deem to be poor decisions or mistakes that, you know, the normal trading card game space would deem mistakes, I do think that will come to bite them. So it begs the question down the road, if Disney Lorcana survives in the long run, which if you think it's going to, let me know in the comment section below. I know a lot of you think it's going to be a fad flash in the pan, but if you think it's going to survive, let me know. But if it does, seeing Disney continue to rent out IPs in the future will get really interesting. But this isn't the first time we've seen this. We actually saw a brand new Star Wars game pop up after Lorcana was announced. This new Star Wars game was announced, and everyone instantly went, oh, Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger can't handle Star Wars. Look, Disney doesn't trust them. They're renting out their IPs. I think Disney just realizes what we're kind of saying into this microphone right now, and I think a lot of you in the comment section realized as well. This game goes, or Disney, the IP, everything Disney owns goes so massively wide that they have the freedom to do this. And in fact, if Lorcana is not going to broach those subjects or those areas of the IP for years to come, it seems silly to just sit them on the shelf and wait for Lorcana. And heck, if Magic the Gathering and Marvel is a massive success, maybe that sets a greater floor for when Lorcana eventually does cross over to Marvel. But here's the hot take in this video, and I hope you're ready for this, because I know this one's got a bit better chance of being wrong than a lot of my hot takes. But you could tell me a story where Disney Lorcana never broaches the more real world Disney divisions and the IPs that feel like they're based around real people. And I know Marvel characters aren't real, guys. I'm a Star Wars fan. I know Star Wars isn't real. I want it to be. I really do, but I'm aware that it's not. But you could tell me a story where Disney Lorcana never touches things like Marvel, never touches things like Star Wars, because they just feel too grounded in actual people, where a lot of these others are a lot of these other IPs that we've seen so far, seen spoiled for the second set, and have theorized about the third set, are all the cartoon fantasy land. They have the same vibe, they have the same feel, a bit of the same aesthetic, and, you know, it would be a bit of a deviation. I think you'd have to get there slowly over time. But let me know what you think. Do you think Disney Lorcana would ever kind of breach that gap and reach into the Marvel universe and give us Captain America and Thor cards? Or do you think it's a bit out of reach for what Disney Lorcana looks to do? Or, hey, if you're super negative on the game, let me know if you just don't think it'll be around by the time that they have the opportunity to make a Captain America card. I truly do. I think Disney Lorcana is going to be around for a good while. I think the game has shown a lot of success. I think Ravensburger's got to fix some stuff, but listen, we loved the game, and it's doing extremely well, both on the primary and secondary market. Game stores are selling boxes like crazy as soon as they get them. We just gotta get more boxes into those stores, man. That's the big issue. So let me just know what you think in the comment section below. Share this video on any social media platform. And finally, if you want to support further, $5 a month, exclusive content, custom emotes, live streams, things like that. You get to sponsor live streams. If you're the most recent channel member to join, you sponsor the next live stream. So shout out Seth, you're the sponsor of Friday Morning Magic this week. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and well, we'll see you around. Goodbye.